No, this is not a Make-A-Wish video, and no, I am not getting paid by Clutch. But yes, if the last two games are any indication, Bronny James may actually be an NBA player just yet. Because Bronny has just capped off his best 2-game stretch of his professional NBA career. Because he actually played meaningful rotation minutes and actually made positive contributions. Now, the box score watchers and Bron haters will surely come out with their pitchforks and take a look at Bronny's 2 points against the Miami Heat and 5 points against Portland and say, really, that's what we're hyping up now? And to that I'd say, yes, really. Because while you're focusing on the low point totals, you're totally missing the fact that 1. Bronny played real rotation minutes in 2 close games, playing 18 minutes and 19 minutes respectively versus the Miami Heat and the Portland Trail Blazers, playing actual fourth quarter minutes in both. And 2. The most impressive part about his recent play is his connective passing and playmaking. Because through these 2 games, Bronny has amassed 8 total assists and 0 turnovers. Emphasis on the 0 turnovers. And in the Lakers' gritty road win versus the Blazers, where they were extremely short-handed, Bronny dished out a career-high 6 assists, several of which happened in the Lakers' critical fourth quarter. And these weren't just stationary lucky assists either, where you just pass the ball to the player and then he shakes and bakes for 10 seconds and gets the shot on his own. These passes Bronny was slinging were off his own dribble, him making the right reads, him driving and kicking, him making the right bounce passes in the pocket, and just overall, him showing a very nice and composed floor game as a point guard. I mean, just check out this slick pass to Marcus Smart on the baseline for 3 as he drives into the lane and then whips it to the corner. Or this beautiful decisive drive and then shovel pass to Jackson Hayes for the jam. Bronny's ability to handle the rock and push the pace with his speed and athleticism and actually create for his teammates on a night when ball handlers were in short order for the Lakers was impressive and shouldn't go underlooked. And then lastly, Bronny just continued to bring the energy and scrap on the defensive end of the floor, perfectly meshing with the Lakers' hustle and grind ethos against the Blazers. He's been getting his active hands on balls, he's been jumping passing lanes, he's been bodying players up and maintaining nice physicality, and his effort and engagement has actually shown up in the stat sheet as well, where he recorded 3 steals versus the Heat and 1 steal versus the Blazers, including a number of other really impressive hustle plays. But beyond these nice little short stints and shifts that we've seen from Bronny the last 2 games, in this video, I'm going to give you my pitch for why I think it's smart for the Lakers to be giving Bronny these reps now, and why, if he continues to develop, he might actually provide the Lakers with something they're sorely lacking. So like this video, comment down below, and please hit subscribe, and let's talk about the son of the king, Bronny Jr. Alright, so let's talk about Bronny James. I know a bunch of people are probably scoffing or rolling their eyes very hard, but you know what? I'm not saying that Bronny James is going to be a future All-Star. I'm not saying that he deserves to be extended. I'm just saying that over the last 2 games, you can't deny that Bronny James had his first meaningful minutes in the NBA, and in those minutes, he actually acquitted himself pretty fairly well. Because I've seen a veteran like Gabe Vincent have a worse 2-game stretch than what Bronny James did on both ends of the court for the Lakers. And just because he only scored 5 points and 2 points, that does not tell the tale of his impact on the game for the Lakers the last 2 wins versus the Miami Heat and the Portland Trail Blazers, especially the Portland Trail Blazers game when he was legitimately playing fourth quarter minutes and dishing off very valuable assists to key teammates. And he made key plays down the stretch as well. So again, I know you saw the intro video, but let's really quickly recap his last 2 games, because against the Portland Trail Blazers, he played 19 minutes, 5 points, 6 assists, 1 steal, and 0 turnovers. Again, the big thing that I want to highlight here is the 6 assists and 0 turnovers. The game before that, Miami Heat, his first taste at real action for the Lakers in the midst of a typical normal rotation. It wasn't garbage time. The Lakers weren't getting blown out. It wasn't looter in a riot minutes for Bronny James against the Miami Heat. And in 18 minutes, he had that crazy lob from Austin Reeves that really showed off his explosiveness and athleticism. I mean, his dad is his dad. He had that crazy lob, but apart from that, he had 2 assists, including one very crucial and very Magic Johnson, very LeBron-esque assist to Marcus Smart on the baseline. But more than that, he had 3 steals in the Miami Heat game, which is huge. And again, 2 assists and 0 turnovers. So the last 2 games, if you're trying to hold on to any silver lining with regards to Bronny's development, because we always knew that he would hustle and play good defense. We always knew that in the open court, he would be athletic. If you want to hold on to any one thing, it's the fact that the last 2 games that he's played meaningful minutes in, his first true stints at impact minutes, Bronny James has 8 assists and 0 turnovers. We're talking about a guy who, when he got usage, would continually fumble the ball, make flatline passes, and get it stripped. So the fact that Bronny James actually had the opportunity to handle the ball more in these 2 games and yet didn't turn the ball over once is a huge sign of development. But look, I'm not trying to convince you guys that the Lakers should re-sign Bronny James to a new 2 or 3 year extension or anything like that. I'm not saying that Bronny James is the future. I'm just saying that this is an NBA player. And so for the rest of this video, I'm just quickly going to give my devil's advocate side for Bronny James. Because I know some of the slander and some of the talk surrounding this kid because of who his father is a little bit insane, and we kind of need to push it back to the middle a little bit. So this isn't even a pitch. This is my pitch for Bronny James might be an NBA player, and it would be good for the Lakers to find that out. And so I actually agree with them giving him these reps early on. So really quickly, let's just do a quick rundown of who Bronny James is. All right, so Bronny James. Bronny is still only 21 years old. In fact, he just turned 21 in October. Now, the biggest slight on Bronny James is the fact that he's only 6'2". Man, this would be a completely different story if he was even just 6'5". But anyways, Bronny James is only 6'2". Now, he does have a fairly long wingspan in comparison to that height with a 6'7" wingspan. Now, Bronny's biggest attribute shows up in his max vert. He recorded a max vert of 40.5 inches at the draft combine, which is insane. As you all know, he was the number 55th pick in the 2024 draft. He plays the point guard, shooting guard position. And let's really quickly look at how much he's progressed, even just in the last year. The way that people talk about him, they're acting like he got the same shot as even Jalen Hood-Schifino his first year. I mean, that's not true. His rookie season, which was, again, just last year, was pretty much a redshirt year for Bronny James. A year after he almost suffered, or he did suffer, a heart attack. Okay, we got to put these things into perspective a little bit. So the guy really just used last year to work himself back into full NBA shape. And last year, he didn't even get reps with the big team. Now, where he got his reps was with the South Bay Lakers. So with the South Bay Lakers in the G League, through about 11 games, Bronny James averaged nearly 22 points, 5.1 rebounds, 5.5 assists, 1.9 steals, on 44% from the field, 38% from 3, knocking down 3.2 threes a game. Those are stellar numbers. I know it's the G League, but those are really good numbers for a player that people didn't think deserved to be picked at number 55, which is pretty much an undrafted player, And so Bronny James really did a good job when he got a chance with the South Bay Lakers. I know he turned the ball over a ton as well, but 25-5 on 44%, 38% splits, and he hit 81% from the line. Those are great numbers. And I know there are a lot of fans who like loved Quincy Oliveri, including me. I mean, I got the chance to interview him personally twice, so I love that dude. I know a lot of fans love Quincy Oliveri and are saying that like, oh, Bronny James took away his opportunity. But I mean, let's keep it a buck here. Bronny James averaged better stats than Quincy Oliveri with the South Bay Lakers. Quincy was an 18-5 guy, 18-6 guy. Bronny James is a 25-5 player, averaging nearly 2 steals a game. Quincy Oliveri definitely has him in the shooting department, but Quincy is like 3 years older than Bronny, and Bronny averaged this in the G League. So something to keep in mind when you're hammering this dude unnecessarily. Um, and then this past summer in July, if you guys remember, but Bronny James actually looked better than our first round pick last year, Dalton Connect. And just to refresh your memory, during the Vegas Summer League, Bronny James averaged 14 points, 2.8 rebounds, and 3.8 assists. And he had pretty decent percentages as well, 47% from the field, 30% from three. You want him to continually improve on that. But if anybody watched Summer League, you would know he looked so much more confident about himself. He was taking these step back threes and actually navigating in the mid range and in the paint, doing a lot better probing without turning the ball over. His handles look tighter. And so, even just from what we saw from his rookie season, and even from what we just saw from his first summer league to this past July summer league, huge improvements, huge strides. He literally just turned 21. So, again, I'm not saying he's going to be an all-star. I'm not saying he's going to be a starter in the league. I'm saying, hey, maybe this is an end of the bench rotation player who you can bring out for some energy, just the same way that JJ Redick brought him and Nick Smith Jr. out in the Portland Trailblazers game. And they literally injected the Lakers with life, youth, speed, and athleticism, especially athleticism and explosiveness on Bronny James' end. So yeah, that's Bronny James, and I'll end this video here because I think so. The reason why, of course, you give a player like this long leeway, not long leeway, you give them some sort of runway to feel themselves out. I feel like it's a little bit, everything has a lot more tension to it because of who his father is. But the reason why I think Bronny James could actually help this Lakers team out and why I think it's wise the Lakers are giving him reps now is if a player like Gabe Vincent has a place in this league, if a player like Davion Mitchell has a place in this league, if a player like Gary Payton II has a place in this league, then surely a guy like Bronny James, who has already shown the flashes that he's shown at 21 years old, deserves a shot. And by the way, Gary Payton II only became an NBA player, a staple NBA rotation player, till much later in his career. And we're talking about a 21-year-old. So again, have some patience, have some perspective, because while I don't necessarily agree with Bronny James being used as an on-ball primary point guard, because I don't think he has the same handles and vision as even someone like Davion Mitchell, while I don't agree with how the Lakers are developing him in that aspect, I don't know. We've also seen improvements in that area as well, as evidenced by 8 assists over the last 2 games and 0 turnovers. You know, I think the more reps he continues to get, the more feel he'll have for the ball, the more he'll probably lock into his Sierra Canyon self, where he was the man and he was more comfortable playing point guard. But even putting the point guard stuff to the side, here's why I think the Lakers could use Bronny. And it's very simple. Bronny represents athleticism, explosiveness, burst, and speed. And for as skilled, talented, big, and strong as the Lakers currently are, that's the one thing that they could use more of. Sheer explosiveness, just a complete athlete. And that's something that Bronny has in spades. I mean, newsflash, he got it from his father. Now, obviously, you wish he had this type of pop in a 6'5" person's body. But as far as 6'2" players go, Bronny's probably one of the most explosive in that category, you know? And so that's why my future comps for Bronny, if everything shakes out right and his development continues to progress on a standard trajectory, I see Bronny James as a Gary Payton II type. an athletic, explosive dude who can turn you over and run up and down the court. He can play make a little bit. Once in a while, he'll hit a baseline corner three, but really he's overwhelming teams with his dynamic pop off the floor on both ends and affecting the game defensively. Gary Payton II as a floor. And then if he progresses in his point guard skills, then yes, let's look at a guy like Davion Mitchell. Let's even look at a guy like Avery Bradley, who can kind of do a little bit of everything, but his calling card was on the defensive end. The real tipping point for Bronny James will be whether or not he can actually develop his three-point shot and shoot at a highly efficient rate at a decent volume. So with that said, that'll do it for this quick segment on Bronny James. I don't want to go on any further because I know this is a sensitive topic. I'm putting a target on my back, but I'm just saying, Bronny James might be an NBA player. And stop freaking out. This is a number 55 pick, essentially an undrafted, player. I know people have gripes with him having a guaranteed contract on the team, but again, given the stats that I've laid out, given what we've already shown, it may be worth it. Given, honestly, it's a little bit nepotistic. Given his pedigree, we know the type of brain he possesses. We know the type of athleticism he possesses. And we know the type of sort of coverage and mentorship he has. His basketball IQ is going to be there by pure transitive property from who his father is. And so you kind of have to just trust the work ethic. And from everything we've heard, Bronny James is a very hard worker, and he's going to continue to get better. How much better? I'm not sure. We may cap out at a 6-point player who's a defensive guard, and he's always going to be literally capped by how short he is. But for now, maybe let's continue to see how he does in these limited runs and these limited usage, because the last 2 games, it's been pretty good, and the Lakers have needed his contributions no matter how small they might look or seem to other people. Again, don't focus on the points. But yeah, with that said, that'll do it for this video. Please remember to like this video, comment down below, and most importantly, hit subscribe. This has been Jonathan Hernandez of the Lakers Legacy Podcast, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.